Hey guys, welcome back to Surreal Beauty, where we talk books, blogs, and fashion. And today I want to touch on a topic that I feel is super important to shed light on. It's definitely something that I've dealt with in my past and still continuously work on perfecting. And I think it's something that many of you guys can relate to. So I'm working on my next blog. It'll be available on my website soon, but it's called The Sleeping Giant. So this topic that I want to touch on today definitely embodies some of the concepts and the ideas that is in my new blog coming up, The Sleeping Giant. So definitely stay tuned for that. It will be available on my website. The link is below. So let's get right into it, guys. So I'm so glad to just be talking about this topic today because honestly, whenever I'm going through something and it's super hard, I definitely take the time to reflect on the experience and the challenges and just things that I did to overcome, or just pay attention to the things that I'm doing that's helping me overcome whatever the hurdle it is that I'm faced with. So, one of the things that I feel is super important to talk about is stepping into our greatness, and whatever greatness is that looks different for each and every one of us, you know. So, I definitely want to share some of my experience just to give some examples on what that may look like if some of you guys aren't familiar with. So, if this is your first time watching my video, I've talked about before in my former videos that I was a former professional athlete. I did track and field. I was a thrower, so I did the shot put, I did the hammer. I also did sports before that, but that was the most track and field was the most relevant and most latest sport that I was involved with. And so I definitely struggled with some of the things that I want to talk about today, which is, stepping into our greatness, protecting our energy, just removing negative attachments, being free, and being free from self sabotage, lack of confidence, and anything that basically holds us back from stepping into our greatness. So, yeah, so when we're stepping into our greatness, well, first of all, how can we be great? How can you be great? You have to find a craft that works for you, you know? So finding that very thing that you do so easily that takes you such little effort. So for example, when I started doing sports and I got into track and field, mind you, I had been doing sports before that. So track and field was a very new sport. I had never done it before. Someone had told me about it and encouraged me to go out and try out. And the first day I ever picked up the shot put and I just did my tryout, I honestly threw maybe just as far or further than all the girls on the team. I kid you not, that first day. And I remember the coach was looking at me, but he was looking at me so crazy, I felt like I was doing something wrong. And he was, he asked me, like, have you done this before? And I said, no. And he was like, are you lying? And I said, I've never done it before, So he was like, wow, so that was just the start of my journey as a track and field athlete, and the rest is history. But yeah, so that is what I mean. The very thing that you just do so easy, that comes so naturally to you, that's what your talent is. Like, that is your craft. And once you find that, now you want to perfect it, you want to work on it, you want to nurture it. Similar to like when you have a flower that you want to plant, or any like seeds that you want to plant, you need to nurture it, it needs to grow, you need to water it. So that's like the next step into working and striving to be our great selves. And so now, we're nurturing our gift and we're working, and, we're nurturing our talents and things like that. So now in this process, so many things can be going through our minds, such as self doubt, maybe just not fully believing, you have those moments where every day you just don't feel great and mighty, so that's definitely happened to me. And honestly, in this stage, it is so important. I mean, overall in life, but in this particular regard, it is so important to be mindful, that we be mindful of what we think, because our thoughts attract things, and what we attract what we are. So what we attract is a result of what's going on inside of us. So it's super important to just, take note that we are harnessing and nesting good thoughts, good vibes, right? That's the goal. So while you're on your way to greatness, now this is something that I struggled with. Now we have fears for many different things. It could be fear of failure, it could be fear of success, So many things. I know I struggled with fear of success. And the reason why, like, I was afraid to like make it big once upon a time in my life. I felt like I wasn't deserving of it. I guess in the short, to put it in a short, as short as I can put it, I just felt like I wasn't deserving of the greatness and just and the success that I was capable of achieving and earning. And a lot of that had to do with my upbringing, my childhood, a lot of trauma that I did not heal from. And so at the time, as I was going through a lot of these things while I was an athlete, I was seeking help and I was seeking counseling. And I was actually seeing a sports psychologist also to help me mentally get through and break through the blockages because it's super difficult. The intensity of being an athlete and the level of mental fortitude that takes, and then also when you have other things going on, so yes, so much so the fear of success was so great that I was self-sabotage like it's no one's business. And honestly, I mean, I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Like, it was to the point where, and I think I've talked about this in my video before, but like, I would just be so afraid to just like talk and do interviews in front of cameras. I would purposely, but like subconsciously, it's at a subconscious level, not win on purpose, but subconsciously. That's something that I feel like it's a big deal, and I want to definitely do another video on that. But like, on a subconscious level, it's like we're computers, right? And so whatever is programmed into the computer, that is how the computer is going to function. So that's similar to how our brains are and how we function as people. Whatever is stored into us, that is what we how we operate as in the world. And so at the subconscious level, that's like the guts, like what the programming is in the computer. That's like the makeup of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the storage of the DNA, all of that stuff. And basically, once upon a time in my life, in the subconscious level, it was embedded with self sabotage, lack, feelings of unworthiness, feelings of undeserving, anything that had to do with not winning. That was what was embedded once upon a time, and so even though at the conscious level I was doing therapy, I was doing things on a surface level to combat what was going on inside me, it wasn't enough. And honestly, it took more deeper digging than just what I was doing at the surface level to narrate what was happening inside me. So yes, that's definitely another thing. It's a real thing. What goes on in the subconscious level versus a conscious level. I definitely want to get more into it when I talk about protecting our energy. But yes, stepping into our greatness, it's so important that we feed our minds, our bodies, and our souls with all the things that will allow us to just be great. Anything, and I know I don't want to sound super cheesy and so cliche because I know things happen in life. I know things suck sometimes. And honestly, even when things suck, we have to focus on what is good. It is okay to acknowledge the not so good things going on. However, if you just dwell and just focus so much and solely on that, you're only going to recreate that misery or that chaos. So just do yourself a favor, whether things are going great or not great. Take the time to just soak in the good, the positivity. Don't forget to feed your mind, body, and soul all of that healthy stuff because your body's counting on you. So you have to feed your computer something that will at least feed it what you want to receive. You know what I'm saying? So give yourself, because what we harvest, the energy we harvest, that is what we put out, and we attract whatever it is that we put out. So if you want to, attract cool things, we want to put out positive energy. So that is definitely a topic for today. It's what I wanted to talk about, stepping into our greatness. We're all capable of being great, whatever that is for you. Find your craft, find your talent. It's there. Take the time, spend some time with yourself, get to know yourself. Really just, figure out and take the time to discover you and what you're so good at and what makes you you and what makes you rock, and gives you that swag and that flavor and that sauce better than anyone else. It's about finding that, tapping into that, perfecting that, being great and overcoming all of the other BS and nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So thank you guys for watching my video. Be sure to check out my website. I have some cool new ebooks. I have some more coming on the way, some blogs and some cute outfits and things like that, some loungewear. So yes, the link is below. Be sure to check me out. Until later, see you guys soon.